Little Mermaid dominates Memorial Day box office with 118 million.
By
Dominates
the way,
it, I guess.
if it drops again, it's going to be lower than Aladdin. Just not even worldwide, domestic only. It'll be below it.
So will it be Under the Sea? No?
Yeah.
No, it'll be
Yeah.
Burial at Sea.
I mean, this is
Burial at Sea.
anything that comes out
Downward, it's
Memorial Day
better.
weekend, any new movie that comes out Memorial Day weekend is generally going to dominate the box office as compared to everything else.
Well,
out there.
that
It'd a
used to be
rare
the
thing.
opening of the summer weekend, right?
Right.
Up until more recent years with Marvel films and some comic book movies, this used to be the weekend they would drop the big movie for the summer, whether it was going all the way back. Some might remember Godzilla and some other ones that came out Memorial Day weekend. The Star Wars prequels are great examples, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and this, it talks about this 35 years after the animated story of Ariel, a flame-haired siren of the sea who falls for a prince, charmed audiences. A live-action remake of Little Mermaid dominated Memorial Day weekend. Disney is on track with a massive 118 million over the 4-day. I'm sorry, that's just, when you use hyperbole like this, we just want to say massive. And we just showed you earlier what some of the other Disney live action things have opened to, especially compared to like Beauty and the Beast. 174 million in March. That wasn't even Memorial Day weekend. That was 3 days domestically in March 17th of 2017. That was massive. 174 million. Lion King, that was massive. 118 million on Memorial Day weekend, the opening of summer. For this movie, it's Ariel, $250+ million budget. Sorry, that's not massive for me. That's just not. 96 million. This is how they bear it. 96 million on the 3-day comparison.
Right,
96.
sub 100.
Yeah, under $100 million. And that is with Thursday previews. And some of these other things that they're saying it beat. They didn't have Thursday previews back then. This also had Wednesday previews in IMAX locations. So, I mean, that's becoming
and we don't
more
know
common.
really what it's going to get on Monday. I mean, Monday or Tuesday, this could be revised down. If it is, if this goes down to 115, somewhere around there, it's really egg on the face of everybody involved.
Yep. The film got a lift from the same moviegoers who first fell in love with Ariel when she flitted across the big screen in 1988, as well as from the generations of fans who weren't alive when the original opened, but were nevertheless weaned on the movie from its various appearances on DVD, television, and more recent years streaming. It's a classic, said Tony Chambers, Disney's head of distribution. You ask a lot. Yeah, not biased at all. You ask a lot of women or men my age, and it's The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast that rank as their favorite animated film. Now, again, what did I tell you earlier? And he's given himself away. This is Disney's head of distribution talking, right? Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, they know those are their two biggest princesses. Okay, and especially from that second golden age of Disney when Menken and Shore started with The Little Mermaid. Yeah, the renaissance of Disney throughout the 90s that began with The Little Mermaid. Ariel and Belle are the two biggest ones for them. And they're comparing it here to this. Everybody loves Ariel. Everybody loves Belle. Well, problem is Ariel did half of what Belle did 6 years ago. This is where the issue is. That should not happen.
And the Belle that could not sing.
Yes, very, loads of post-production, effects on her voice. Lots of processing.
Poor Emma.
Lots of auto-tune for sure. Here's where it gets funky. All the watery magic didn't come cheap. The Little Mermaid has a $250 million production budget. So when I tell y'all 250, this is not Valiant numbers. This is from Variety magazine. $250 million production budget, so it will need to keep attracting crowds around the globe in order to break even. They have already abandoned the language of it's a success at this point, just a few paragraphs in. They're now talking about, wow, it's going to have to keep attracting a lot of people around the world if it wants to break even. So they've already thrown in the towel from that perspective on their language. The film grossed $68.3 million from 51 material markets. I'll repeat it. The film grossed a pathetic $68 million from 51 international markets. That is atrocious. That is absolutely atrocious. You're talking about 1/3, 1/4, 1/5 in some cases of comparable Disney films from just the past 6-7 years in terms of international box office opening weekends. That sucks. That plain sucks. And it's not like it's going to magically get any better tomorrow. I mean, opening weekends are the heralds of things to come. Now, sometimes movies really surprise us, right? Guardians of the Galaxy. Everything about that movie's opening weekend said, this is where it's going to wind up. But for the fact, and the Monday was a big hint. But for the fact of amazing word of mouth for that film, and it just hung on. Now, it's hung on better domestically than it has internationally. And I think they're not out of the woods. They still have a ways to go before they can turn a profit. I would love to see them get there because I enjoyed the movie, as I told folks. This is different because this movie is not getting the same kind of praise, I think, that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 did. And we showed even the top critic score. We'll bring that back up. Read the next part. In the U.S., 68% of the audience was female. No real surprise there. 25% of ticket buyers ranged in age between 25 to 34. Kids accounted for 22% of the opening weekend crowds.
Who the heck is the rest of that percentage?
Thank you. 22% according to this in Variety magazine, and I'm sure this came from intelligence, like Deadline has some different data. We're going to get to that. The demographic, the racial demographic, ethnic demographic breakdown. Oh, boy. 22% were 18 or under 18. Who was going to see this film?
Yeah, this is bizarre if those are accurate.
Lorena, thoughts?
This just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Is 50% like an above 50 crowd that's going to see The Little Mermaid?
Yeah, 25% of ticket buyers range from 25 to 34. Another 22%.
Sure. So young adults.
Where
22% is 18 and under.
Yeah.
So
it just seems like it might have been a lot of, and that's why they said a lot of the ones that saw it 30 years ago that are now 40-year-olds. Maybe
that's what I'm looking at here.
Yeah. We're talking about
not only that, female heavy on top of it all. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that wasn't so much of a surprise, and
no, not really, but in a way, yeah, because usually musicals like this will bring a heavy gay crowd to them too.
Maybe,
but this music was so bad. I don't blame them.
Yeah, they got better taste.
Yeah.
Like squat.
The other problem to me is that and this is just the behavior, the historical behavior. Female audiences more often than not don't tend to do repeat viewings. That's usually when big action movies, guys go back and see a movie over and over again. Now there are some exceptions.
What's his face from Aladdin was saying, wasn't he? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Masood, what's his name? The actor that played Aladdin you're talking about?
Yeah, because he made the point that usually, he didn't think that this would make $1 billion because his Aladdin had the exception that the other Disney revivals hadn't had, and that was that they had repeat viewings.
Yeah, and that's harder to come by with female audiences for this kind of film. Now, the things it does have going for it, it's a musical. That tends to buck that female trend, but then again, how much are they going to care to go back and see this movie when soundtrack's already been out there?
What you've got to listen to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but here's the other thing. Quote, I'm sorry, senior analyst at ComScore, this gives Disney the green light to keep mining the vault.
What is left?
Says Paul, that guy, senior media analyst at ComScore, with an opening this big.
How could you mispronounce Durga?
Yeah, that. We'll go with it. Durga. With an opening this big, I think you're going to keep seeing these live action reboots.
This is great.
Why?
These analysts, this is fantastic.
I want to smoke with somebody. He's smoking. Now, did y'all see what the Metacritic score is now?
Yes.
Long as we're losing 300 million, keep it going, baby.
Yeah,
God, was it like 43 or something like that?
I was a little. The Rotten Tomatoes top critic score was 43. The Metacritic score, which is the IMDb their top critic score is 55, 56. So it's in the toilet too.
What is left in the vault? Are we getting like the Rescuers Down Under live action remake? I mean, what is there?
God forbid. Don't let them mess up.
I was going to say, don't Don't speak too soon, Pro. There's still some gems left they haven't really messed with.
Don't you
But,
dare touch
not
Oliver
many.
and Company. Don't you do it.
And of course,
Why should I worry, Pro? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I want to finish up with the demographic part, because this is where it gets interesting again, and this is what I was afraid of when you put out this kind of like ethnically, racially motivated marketing campaign that Disney just keeps doing and keeps doing and keeps doing. Somebody said this like earlier with Moses Ingram was a great example last year with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we've seen it time and time again. It
Yeah.
falls flat each and every time, and it drives audiences away. So this is from Anthony DeHalessandro. This is also from today. For those that may not remember, Nancy Tartaglione at Deadline covers international. Anthony covers domestic. Little Mermaid now swimming to 117 plus million opening, boosted by $80 million promo campaign. That's the marketing partners, and that's where people are kind of getting confused. Disney spent 150 million on this. I think I'm getting the sense that Disney did what they did with Wakanda Forever, and they were probably pushing the 1-to-1 marketing ratio with this.
Oh my gosh.
I think the marketing campaign from Disney might be in that 200 range or getting
Oh,
there.
if it is, that's I had not thought about that.
I saw more for this movie than I have seen from Disney in a long time. And Disney spends a lot of money, and I saw a lot. So this was everywhere.
You know why you might be right, and until you said this, I had not considered it. They bumped the Marvels to November. That would have freed up some marketing cash to spend. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yep. I mean, Marvels has its own problems, obviously. But let's read through this and let's talk about this. And I'm gonna skip this. We already know they're a little bit more exacting with their numbers. $95.5 million over the 3-day. Anthony's looking at 117.5 over the 4-day. That could go up a little bit. I'm sure Disney would like to be able to say 120. Instead of in the 1-teens or something like this, but that's where we are. Despite the easing of grosses, that's not a bad thing. Really? This just happens when the industry projects out a 4-day weekend. Rivals still see the movie doing between 121 and 123, so that's not that much better. And it would not be shocking to see Little Mermaid resurfacing to that range, which is closer to earlier weeks' opening projections.
This thing was projected at 140 plus like 5 days ago.
Yeah, for the 4-day.
What are these guys smoking?
Yeah. And they start doing some comparisons to other things, talking about Aladdin wound up doing another 30 million on its Sunday compared to what this is doing. Memorial Day opening 116.8 4-day start. Again, ticket prices have gone up. I don't know if Aladdin was never as huge a hit as Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast were. So I get it's a fair comparison because it's a Disney princess film, but Jasmine was never as big a deal as Ariel, not even close, from just a pure sales standpoint. Here's where we start getting. Hopefully
it had a better video game though. Let's say that the Aladdin video game.
The Aladdin video game was awesome.
Throwing apples for the win.
Yeah, Intelligence estimates the Mermaid pulled in 7.4 million in admissions, tickets sold. Over the 3 days, potentially 9.4 or 9.2 million over 4, not including preview night. Little Mermaid reps 59% of this weekend's movie-going foot traffic so far. Average ticket price was $13.37 for all formats in general, $11.19 for child, and $11.65 for seniors. What did we cover in the Variety article a minute ago? 22%. Only 22% were kids. Kids' tickets stop at 12 years old. That's $11.19 ticket on average, right? The audience for this skewed older. Usually when you look at like Super Mario Brothers movies, you look at kids movies, you look at animated movies, you look at the box office, you're always going in with the mind that the average ticket price that's going into this movie, because there's more kids, the ticket prices are cheaper. There's more people seeing it during the day because of little kids. This movie is skewing older with more general admission, meaning higher ticket prices, like you'd pay at a John Wick movie, and it still only did what it did.
By the way, 2019 average movie ticket price, according to NATO Online, $9.16.
Yep.
So run the percentage on that versus what the average ticket price is for The Little Mermaid this year. You find out it's a major shift percentage-wise.
Big time. Little Mermaid had the biggest global promotional partner campaign for a Disney-branded live-action title, not from Lucasfilm or MCU. So think of Beauty and the Beast, think of Aladdin, think of Lion King. This was the biggest marketing campaign partnership they had at an estimated $80 million. And that was McDonald's. That was Mattel with the toys that they were doing or whatever it was with the Disney Princess, because they've got the Disney Princess thing, I think. Or at
Wait a
least
minute,
some of these.
didn't we just look up like a week ago and find that the Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield had like a $200 million partnership marketing campaign from back in 2012? So I don't see how this is a huge number.
It's the biggest number for a Disney live action princess remake. Don't you see, Pro? Stop messing up the spin.
Live action princess. Got it. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I'm seeing the categorization now. Got it.
Yeah. Now, this we go down here. Some of this kind of funnier stuff. Relish Mix measured Little Mermaid's social awareness stats before the Pix opening. It stood at 36%, above family live genre norms across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. 589.5 million. Comps included, get this, Sonic the Hedgehog, Detective Pikachu, and Dumbo. None of those movies really lit the box office on fire. Even Sonic, to be fair.
And by the way, Valiant, Wakanda Forever had $100 million promo partner campaign. So this is just total bunk. This whole thing is
that's
just
what they're saying,
framing it away from the truth.
That wasn't Lucasfilm or Marvel, right? Strictly Disney live action. That's not
exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, look at the comparables that they're saying for social media awareness stats. They're not pulling out some of these like Beauty and the Beast or Lion King. That was 2019. The first Sonic the Hedgehog was basically shut down by COVID. And it did, I think, 200 million before the theaters turned off. But I mean, look at the comps they're giving. This is what's kind of bonkers to me. Audience exits are great. A+ cinema score, A cinema score. Same grade as Disney's live action Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and Lion King. Now, again, cinema score is just a measurement of exit polling of audiences coming out. Does not always pretend that the box office is going to be massive or the box office is going to look like the other movies that they're comparing it to. It's just, this is what people thought when they left. Screen Engine ComScore's post-track notches a 91% positive, 76% definite recommend. That could pretend maybe some legs on this movie, no pun intended. While kids under 12 were over the moon at 92% positive, but there weren't that many kids under 12 there, apparently, according to this, if we believe Variety magazine, and 69% definite recommend. The kids were 69% definite recommend, but the overall score was 76%. The kids are not as crazy about this movie as the adults. And this is the new generation that they want to get.